What city would I live in?
I live in my city.
I would live in any city from that time.
New York City.
I wouldn't go for Barcelona.
I think my city, Kathmandu, Nepal.
It's a really nice place. So it could be Rio, for example.
Quito, Ecuador, South America.
I guess I would choose for Paris.
I believe I lived in Belo Horizonte.
London, Lisboa, Portugal.
I will live in Florianopolis.
So I would choose Rotterdam.
Competitiveness. A strong word, right? The dictionary may say competitiveness requires something being better than another and winning the competition. When we talk about urban studies, it is a little bit different. There is no winner or loser in the competition between cities, despite some cities are more competitive than others. Competitiveness reflects the capability of a city to attract and maintain capital, information, technology, culture, people, and organizations that help a region to create an innovative operational environment in which it is possible to increase and sustain the standards of living for those who participate in it.
You see more and more the money-making thing, you know?
It's very urban, it's very international, very bustling, it's happening a lot.
Where the, let's call it, economic social system is a little bit developed.
In economic crisis in the late 90s, attract young and creative people.
It's inviting the world to come and look to the city and live here and start businesses here.
But the connection between poor and rich is creativity.
Well, nice places to go out at night.
You can always find a place to go to do something, to meet people.
Youth takes over and create their own city with their own people and their own restaurants and bars and cafes.
Especially because the underground scene. And
It's the food culture, there's a lot of different and good food.
it's also an incubation city. So a lot of artists and a lot of musicians and that are kind of autonomous artists.
I like the architecture, I like the whole design movement in
Have the
Rotterdam.
opportunity to interact with other nationalities because it's a global community. You interact with different from diverse backgrounds.
It was very welcoming.
People are awesome.
Really making way in the world, you know, finding a place and being proud of what they are and finding their own identity.
Yeah, I mean, there are people from everywhere here. So that's something we see, and plus what we're studying here, it's very international. We have people from all over the world, and
It's always interesting to meet a lot of diverse individuals, so you get a lot of cultural exchange and you know how people interpret different things. And
There's varied nationalities in Rotterdam, and I will have the opportunity to interact and learn from other nationalities as well.
the location of the city is really interesting.
There is a very good university.
Safety.
Where the transport system is very efficient and effective.
It's really nice the way they take care of the city. It's all the time clean, and there's a lot of green areas.
Because of it's the most city of all cities. It's like all cities of the world combined.
Yeah, actually, when we came here, safety was something that was really, it was felt, like, you know, it was felt very strongly because we could be out cycling late into the night by ourselves. It's everything open. You don't have this division between public and private space like we have in Latin America.
How to make a city competitive? A city becomes more competitive when it offers opportunities and facilities to people and organizations develop their activities, giving back such development to the city as a whole. Economically speaking, firms and companies seek places where it is easy to start and expand their business. In these cases, for instance, the city's policies can offer land for free for location decisions or lower taxes to attract these firms. When it comes to entertainment, what interests and attracts especially a new creative generation of people is the city that promotes the local culture and art and is also open to foreign cultures. Music, art, food, sports. Options. Besides providing entertainment for those who already live in the city, options allow the city to be more inclusive. Being inclusive brings diversity, and remember, diversity of people means diversity of ideas. At last but not least, a city must offer infrastructure, so all these things can happen. Public services as energy, water, transportation, communication, and buildings must be carefully planned, concerning with the ecological issues as well. So, let's see some examples of cities that suffered from a massive physical damage. First, natural disasters. This video shows the tsunami that hit the east coast of Japan in 2011. With costs estimated in over $300 billion, most authorities predicted up to 4 years of negative growth. But when it comes to long-term predictions, they say that the reconstruction will actually be a boost for the economy and would push up their growth for the coming years. Some of the city's infrastructures, like highways, were built in a couple of days, allowing people to go back to their cities after the disaster. In other cities, like Fukushima, the damage of the nuclear power plant made impossible for the citizens to ever come back to their cities. One example of resilience occurred in the city of Rotterdam, due to an external threat factor, the Second World War. The city was utterly damaged with a long bombardment and 3 days of consecutive fire that caused even more destruction in the city center. Afterwards, Rotterdam responded to the devastation, being entirely rebuilt and influenced by a modern architecture, besides of being an example of urban planning. Now, let's talk about Detroit. The population of Detroit has shrunk from nearly 2 million people to under 800,000 as a result of the economic crisis that left most of the major automobile companies at the edge of bankrupt and most part of the population unemployed. As a result, a city with a complete infrastructure and one of the most iconic in the United States is now trying to reinvent itself to stop its citizens from moving out. This phenomenon shows how dangerous it is for a city to be overly specialized. Resilience. Resilience concerns the ability of a city to respond, adapt, and recover from changes and disasters, which can be natural, like a tornado, economic, like a crisis, or any other external threats. Resilience is to think in a preventable and forward-looking way, approaching urban systems strategies, targeting all levels of communities, and with the governance participation in order to ensure the safeness of the people and to protect economic, social, environmental, and cultural matters, besides the aspects that defines the unique character of a city. To define and measure the resilience capacity of a city, we can use traits such as the sense of belonging and ownership by the citizens, the amount of different kinds of business specializations, infrastructure, and see how they manage creativity, branding, renewable energy, eco-efficiency, and network.